So you guys remember back in school when we first learned about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a psychological theory about human motivation and the innate curiosity of humans. So pretty much from the bottom, it starts off with physiological needs. So your basic needs like food, water, shelter, etc. and so forth. Next, it goes to safety needs. So essentially personal security, employment, resources, and like health. Next on the hierarchy of needs is love and belonging. So friendships, intimacy, family, those things. Next we have esteem. Esteem can be self-esteem, respect, freedom, recognition, things of that nature. And lastly, at the top of the pyramid is self-actualization, which is the need and the desire for human beings to become the best version of themselves that they can. Now, the thing about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that not all human beings really accomplish each level and phase of the hierarchy. And pretty much as you go up, there are sometimes specific areas where people may be fulfilled and some areas where people are not accomplished on this hierarchy. Now, the reason I bring that up is because I wanted to talk about personal development, and the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is extremely important when it comes to personal development and figuring out where you are on this hierarchy. Now, back in 2021, when COVID was at its peak, everybody was on quarantine and I was in Houston, Texas. Everything around me was kind of on pause, was on standstill. And pretty much I had every level on the hierarchy fulfilled and completed. Everything was being checked off except the esteem and self-actualization. And I got into this point where when the world had slowed down around me, I no longer had the distractions of the outside world and of other people to pretty much keep me distracted away from the human needs that weren't being fulfilled within me. And I found myself to have a lot of conflicting issues internally, because I remember being in a hotel. It was very similar to solitary confinement, where I really had to look in the mirror and face myself for the areas in which I lacked in personally within my personal development. And those areas were causing issues within my personal life, within my professional life, my financial life, and my emotional life. And it was really important for me, just the type of person I am, to grasp and gain more control over my life and ascend to that level of self-actualization. And I feel this is so important to personal development because that's when I got to a point where I started to invest in myself. So I started to invest in my education and be meticulous about the content and the data that I was taking in within myself. So I stopped listening to a lot of the negative music that I was listening to. I really got off of social media and just stopped scrolling on my feeds and really just tried to put as much positive, educational, impactful information within myself as I could. Self-education. When I tell you I've spent thousands of dollars on educating myself, whether it's from my monthly Audible subscription, the different podcasts that I listen to, the different communities that I've joined, the different mentorships and courses that I've paid for. I know that the money that I'm putting into the education and the information that I'm learning is ultimately making me a stronger, more prepared, and more skilled individual, regardless of what path I'm on. Now, me, it's financial planning, and I went from not knowing anything about personal finance, not knowing anything about investing, was at a point where I knew nothing about real estate, and now I'm a real estate investor with 4 doors. I'm a financial planner with my own independently registered wealth management firm, and I'm at a place where I can help other people get to where I'm at from a professional and financial standpoint. Personal development is so important because you're at the level that you're at for a reason. And in order to get to that next level, you have to cultivate a mindset. You have to cultivate the person that needs to get to that level so that they can function successfully and effectively at that level. I was at a point where I realized that I saw the future. I wanted more for myself, but one, I wasn't in a place mentally. I wasn't mature enough, and I wasn't really prepared to get to that place. So it was educating myself. For example, when it comes to real estate, I wanted to be a real estate investor. I wanted to get in real estate, but I really didn't know what I was getting into, and I wasn't prepared for what I would be up against. So it was educating myself through reading different books, educating myself through listening to different podcasts to be able to gain enough confidence to take on the task itself and then get that real world learning experience. So the best investment that you can make is not into an investment vehicle, it's not into a business, it's not into a stock, it's not into a real estate property. It's into yourself, because you are the person who is going to then embark on that journey, and you are the one who are going to have to take those steps and pretty much get through those obstacles and get over those hurdles. And in order to do that, you have to prepare yourself. You have to train yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically to be able to do that. And just like an athlete yourself, you have to train yourself. You have to educate yourself. You have to be all in when it comes to yourself, your vision, and what you're passionate about. Along this journey, I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and one of the major podcasts that I listened to was the Secrets to Success podcast with Eric Thomas. And I followed these guys. I've always been a fan of Eric Thomas, always been a fan of his motivational videos on YouTube. But to get to hear him consistently on a weekly basis educate me, help enlighten me, help motivate me, help push me, I really bought into the message that he was sharing. And I ultimately ended up going to a personal development conference that he had in Atlanta. This conference was called the 120 Conference. And when I say this conference changed my life, this conference changed my life because I really wasn't into the whole self-help personal development thing. I always thought that was something for people who just ain't had their shit together. I thought it was something for not for me. I really kind of looked at it with a negative connotation. This conference was my first experience of being around like-minded individuals who wanted to better themselves. It seemed like everybody there either had an idea, was trying to find their lane, or trying to figure out and try to better themselves and put them in a better position based on the information that they got from the conference. And I can truly say, like, being around a room full of people who have the same mindset as you, same mentality, and are on the same mission as you, regardless whether it's doing the same thing or not, just trying to better themselves and being vulnerable in that environment and that atmosphere really kind of changed my outlook on not only myself, but the environment and the people that I engage with on a daily basis. And I really think that this conference truly changed my life because it was at this conference where I found my passion in being a financial advisor, being a financial planner, because of one of the speakers up on stage. Attending this conference and hearing this man speak, and just the motivation that he put in me inspired me so much, because after that conference, after the first day, I then went home and had to really figure out what my passion was and how I could turn my passion into a business for myself, which has truly got me to this point. When I tell you that I was so motivated, I even signed up for Eric Thomas's community, where every morning at 6 a.m. we were doing accountability calls, and it was a group of 50 plus people where we're getting on, we're sharing what our quarterly goals are, we're sharing what our yearly goals are, and we're holding each other accountable. It just really opened me up to a world of people that, one, come from different backgrounds as me, look differently than me, but internally and intrinsically all have that same internal motivation and want to help each other out and add value to each other. So that was really a great experience, which has truly changed my life. And listen, if you're a healthcare professional and you're passionate about real estate, make sure you check out the link in my description. Sign up for my email club, where you'll receive exclusive content, exclusive access to me, and you'll also be one of the first to have the opportunity to join my healthcare real estate investors community that I'll be starting very soon. So make sure you guys go check that out. When it comes to community, you only know but so much. And if you have dreams and aspirations to do things that you've never done before and you don't know how to do, it's very hard to believe in yourself and gain the confidence to do those things when there aren't people around you who are doing it. So when you put yourself in a community of like-minded individuals who all have the same goal, or who all want to do better for themselves, you now open yourself up to people whom you wouldn't normally engage with or share experiences with. And when people share their experiences, you can learn from other people's experiences alone, not just your firsthand experiences. And then you also meet people who believe in you just as much as you should believe in yourself and have your best interest in heart, so that you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So you never really know who's out there. And that's why, like, I'm really heavy into community now, because there's so much that I feel like from a value perspective I can give to people, but there's also so much more that I can continue to learn, and cultivating that community of people who are like-minded and have each other's best interests at heart, I feel is one of the most slept on and underrated aspects of personal development, community building, and engagement within your network. At the end of the day, when you have that burning desire inside of yourself to be better, it's truly important to invest whatever you have right now into yourself, into learning a skill, so that you can then use that skill to create a business and allow that business to help you find your way out of whatever financial position, whatever professional position you're in, and have that be your plan B and your exit strategy. So like I always say, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and keep tapping in. And like I always say, see you when I see you.